Hey, I'm John Cannell. Today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making some amazing and easy ice cream sandwiches, perfect for a hot summer day. So let's get started. First off, grab a pint of your favorite vanilla ice cream and let it sit on the counter for about 20 to 30 minutes so it's nice and soft. Scoop it out onto a parchment-lined 13x9 baking sheet that's a quarter sheet. I'm using a little bit more than a pint today. I want an extra thick ice cream sandwich for my kids. If you want to do the same thing, have at it. It'll just take a little bit longer to freeze. And if vanilla is not for you, mint chocolate chip, whatever you want, all the flavors are gonna work well. Grab an offset spatula and we're just gonna smush this into place so it's one big sheet. We need to have a rock solid, flat sheet of ice cream to sandwich between our delicious chocolate cookie layers. Getting a nice flat layer of ice cream is the only tricky part of this recipe. Just be patient, but don't dawdle because the ice cream will melt into a giant pool. You really want it to be at that perfect soft consistency before you start this. My ice cream's all leveled out. I'm gonna plop one more layer of parchment right on top. Close that up. And this goes into your freezer until it is rock solid. So it totally depends on how cold your freezer is. While this is setting up, we're gonna make our amazing chocolate cookies. Our ice cream sandwiches need a giant mega chocolate cookie to sandwich them in. So set your oven to 350 so it's nice and hot, then grab an 18x13 or half baking sheet and line it with parchment paper after you give it a little butter. A little bit at the bottom, special attention for the sides. Plop your parchment in. There we go. The butter is basically gluing it onto the sheet because the batter is spreadable. We're gonna spread all this chocolate batter over it, and you don't want your paper to move. Now, in a medium bowl, I want 1 cup of cocoa powder, 100 grams. I always sift the cocoa powder. This stuff is pure rocks. It's so crazy. And 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 120 grams. Half a teaspoon of salt for contrast. And to puff things up, half a teaspoon of baking powder. Scale's done. Sift this out, and then we'll whisk it up. So the predecessors of the ice cream sandwich were called Hokey Pokeys, and they were little portions of ice cream sold between pieces of paper, so you'd eat them quickly. Then somebody came up with the idea of sandwiching them between two, basically cookies that were called milk biscuits. So 100 or so years ago, this could have been yours for the price of a penny. Pennies don't go that far now. So many cocoa rocks, my goodness. Okay, grab a whisk. You really want to distribute all of the ingredients so there's not one mouthful of cocoa, one mouthful of flour and baking powder in between. Just be careful of that cocoa powder cloud. All whisked up, set this aside, and now we're gonna get to our butter and sugar. Into the bowl of your stand mixer, fitted with a paddle attachment, I'm adding 1 1/4 cups or 283 grams of unsalted room temperature butter. You can definitely make this with a hand mixer and a large bowl, but honestly it's easier with a stand mixer. Cream the butter up just for a minute on medium. Once your butter is nice and creamy, 1 1/4 cups or 250 grams of granulated sugar. You can make these cookies in advance and just have them in the freezer as an amazing treat, and they're gonna be so delicious. It's perfect for a hot day. Scrape your bowl down at least once, and then we're gonna go medium speed for about 3 minutes or until your butter and sugar are nice and light and fluffy. 3 minutes on medium. Three minutes later, my butter and sugar are so light and fluffy. Look at that texture, oh my gosh. Do yourself a favor and scrape the bowl down. You don't want any compacted pure butter at the bottom, not delicious. And now, we're gonna add 2 room temperature eggs in. You can crack it right into a bowl if you feel brave. I don't today, so grab a little container, check for shells, and then add the egg in. This is not a crunchy cookie. Let the first egg mix in, and then you're gonna add the second once it's totally incorporated. And yes, you should scrape the bowl down one more time. All right, time for egg number 2. So those first ice cream sandwiches were basically between biscuit-like cookies, more biscuit than cookie. Later on in 1928, George Whitney had the brilliant idea of taking 2 oatmeal cookies, sandwiching some ice cream between them, and then dipping them in chocolate. That's even more delicious. The ice cream sandwich that we all identify now as the classic with the chocolate outsides and the vanilla on the inside came from Jerry Newberg 20 years later, and they were served at baseball games. This looks beautiful. We're gonna add our chocolate flour mixture in now, so add it in. And then we're gonna mix on low until it is just combined. Just like with a cake, you want a tender, like wonderful cookie, not a tough cookie. So over-mixing the batter is a big no-no for these. Low speed until just combined, and actually I'll probably finish the batter off by hand. Don't forget 1 tablespoon of vanilla. It's okay, you can add it in at the end. So I see from my vantage point a delicious chocolate cookie batter. You see some streaks of butter, so let's fix that by scraping the bowl down and just working it together by hand. Your mixer did a lot of work, but you have to do some too. Use your spatula, scrape the bowl down, and work any errant flour bits in. Your dough should feel like fairly thick and like buttery, but spreadable. So look at this. Fudgy, amazing. Just a few streaks of flour and butter left to fix. Otherwise, it's perfect. Our mixer's done. Grab your bowl and your baking sheet and get to work. Plop it into your pan, and then we're gonna spread it out into a nice thin layer. Easiest with an offset spatula. 1 nice thin layer, here we go. See why we wanted to glue the parchment paper down? It would have been sliding all over the place if it hadn't been buttered. I'm not gonna tell you to make this perfect, but you do wanna have a really level surface. So move the chocolate around hither and thither until it completely coats your pan, and then just get it nice and level. It's much easier to do this now than worry about it after it's baked. And like, yes, these can be plain ice cream sandwiches and delicious, but I really recommend like using your favorite flavors of ice cream. You could do multiple flavors, like lay them out in bands, or you can dip the cookies in melted chocolate. You could dip them in sprinkles. So many fun things I'll show you in a little bit. It's actually really relaxing. It's like doing a Zen garden, but with chocolate. All right. Our gigantic mega cookie is ready to go into the oven, 350 for 10 to 12 minutes, or until it looks dry to the touch. Right afterwards, we're gonna get to work because this cookie cannot stay like this. Things have to change. In you go. As soon as your cookie's out of the oven, you can use a measuring tape if you want. See what halfway is, because an 18-inch pan is not 18 inches, it's 17 and a half-ish. And then you're gonna make a mark right there. And then another one. Now use a knife, and we're going to score this out. You wanna do this while it's really warm, because if it's cold, it can break. It'd be so frustrating. Perfect, just like that, we have 2 even sides. This will come out easier later on, and it's already pre-cut. If you want, you can grab a fork and just dock it a bit for that kind of like signature ice cream sandwich look. I'll do half of it, and we'll see if I like it. In case you're wondering, this smells so good. It's like a very chocolatey, cakey cookie at this point. We're gonna let this cool completely. It'll stiffen up quite a bit in the meantime, and then we're gonna sandwich things together and do some fun stuff. Set this aside and don't eat it yet. Once your mega cookie is completely cooled, your ice cream's probably hard enough as well, so it's time to assemble, but not cut, except for the edge. So get a sharp little knife and just run it along the edge carefully so that your cookie is not gonna stick. You wanna have a full dismount of 2 gigantic large pieces, not anything crumbling before your eyes and making you sad. Just for safety, I'm adding a piece of parchment paper on top, grabbing a large wire rack, and we're gonna invert this. Think good thoughts. If your cookie's stuck, it might be because the butter got too cold and it's kind of welded the paper together with the pan. Go ahead and pop your cookie back into the oven just for 2 minutes so the butter softens up, and then it should be able to release. Let's try this one more time. I heard something flop. Once your cookie's dislodged, grab your ice cream from the freezer, and then we want to assemble this and then put it back into the freezer to chill without breaking anything, melting anything, and just having it be nice and intact. So I have another baking sheet turned upside down, a sheet of parchment paper, and I'm just gonna carefully slide one of the cookie sheets right onto the parchment paper. Satisfying. My ice cold ice cream is out of the freezer. Remove the top piece of parchment paper. Isn't that nice? And now I'm gonna place that carefully on top of the cookie. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip this over just so it looks pretty. It doesn't really matter. It's only for aesthetics. Flip it over quickly and with confidence, just like if you're making a roll cake. Okay. Grab some cling film and we're gonna wrap this up and let it freeze one more time for 4 hours to overnight. We're letting it freeze so everything comes together. The cookie will really adhere to the ice cream and it'll be very easy to cut. All wrapped up and ready to go into the freezer. When we come back, it's time to give it a cut and decorate them up. 12 hours later, and this ice cream situation, it's rock hard and so cold. Unwrap it, and we're gonna give this a cut with a hot knife. So I have a little glass of really hot water here, so I can dip my knife and it'll cut through nice and even. You can see, so hard after freezing overnight, it really makes a big difference. Knife into hot water. You can cut these any size you want. I'm gonna get 12 out of this, so I'm thinking a 3x4 grid. I'm scoring the top because I'm horrible at getting straight lines that are perpendicular and nice and neat. It's always a good idea just to measure out and score before you cut. Here we go. Knife back into the hot water and give these guys a good confident cut. If, by the way, you had some mishap and like things got broken, like some of my edges are a little bit messed up, that's fine. It's gonna taste delicious. But if it bothers you and you want them to look really pretty, I would either do a dip or a drizzle in chocolate and they'll be so beautiful and no one will know what happened underneath. Once your ice cream sandwiches are all cut, you can either enjoy them immediately, wrap them up and pop them into the freezer to serve later, or grab some sprinkles, chocolate chips, anything you want, and get to dipping. If you're doing some fun dipping, press whatever you're dipping into the side, scoot it away from the cake because that won't stick, and repeat. If it's really big, like the mini chocolate chips, then you have a last step of just pressing it on. Use your cold countertop and it'll form a really nice bond. On a warm day, this is just about perfection. The magical thing about this, aside from it being like cool and refreshing and delicious, this cake is like a perfect fudgy chocolate cake layer. It's not a crisp cookie, it's soft and so rich and a wonderful contrast to the ice cream. I hope you had a chance to make this recipe, and if you like this video, check out my Summer Treats playlist.